Have you ever wondered how religion, particularly Judaism, could possibly justify violence, specifically against women and children? Is there any truth to this allegation? Welcome to a journey of exploration and understanding. Today we delve into the complex interplay of religion, violence, and politics, focusing on one of the world's oldest religions, Judaism. This topic is controversial, with claims arising that religion, in this case Judaism, can be used to justify violence. The purpose of our exploration is not to point fingers or to pass judgment. It is to analyze objectively and critically the validity of these claims. To do this, we'll be using an array of resources, including historical documents and statistical data. Our investigation will be thorough, meticulous, and respectful of all perspectives. It's crucial to note that religion, in its essence, is a force for good, for unity, and for peace. It's when human interpretations and political agendas come into play that we see distortions and misuse. We'll be looking at the intersection of religious beliefs and political landscapes, particularly in the context of the ongoing Palestine issue. This issue has been a significant point of contention for decades, and it's where our focus will lie. We'll explore how religious interpretations have been used or misused in the context of violence, particularly against women and children. This exploration is not about laying blame but about understanding the dynamics at play. Understanding is the first step towards resolution. By shedding light on these issues, we aim to promote dialogue, foster empathy, and encourage peaceful solutions. So, are you ready to delve into this intricate web of religion, violence, and politics? To question, to learn, and to understand? Remember, our goal here is not to provoke but to inform, to explore, and to understand. Let's delve into the historical roots of this topic to gain a deeper understanding. The question of violence in Judaism is as old as the religion itself. Judaism, one of the world's oldest religions, has a rich and complex history that spans over 3,000 years. This history is intertwined with stories of conflict, war, and violence, but it's also deeply rooted in teachings of peace, compassion, and respect for all life. Let's delve a bit into the Old Testament, also known as the Hebrew Bible, which serves as a primary source of Jewish law and theology. Here we can find instances of violence such as in the books of Joshua and Judges, where conquests and battles are detailed. But it's crucial to note that these instances are often contextual, relating to specific historical periods and circumstances. What's more, the interpretation and understanding of these texts vary widely. Some scholars and practitioners view these stories as allegorical or metaphorical, while others may interpret them more literally. For example, the concept of an eye for an eye from Exodus is often taken out of its original context. Many people interpret it to mean literal physical retaliation, but in Jewish law, it's widely understood to refer to monetary compensation for injuries. Moreover, Judaism has a core principle, pikuach nefesh, which values the sanctity of human life above almost all else. This principle often overrides other commandments in situations where a life is at risk. Therefore, violence is typically seen as a last resort, to be used only in self-defense or to protect others. It's also worth mentioning that, like in any religion or belief system, individuals and groups within Judaism have different interpretations and practices. There's a vast spectrum of beliefs, from the most orthodox to the most liberal, each with its unique understanding of violence and its role within the religion. So, while violence is indeed present in the text and history of Judaism, it's not a straightforward or dominant theme. Interpretations and applications are diverse, and they often emphasize the value of peace, life, and respect for others. Now that we have a grasp of the historical context, let's move to the controversial claim about violence against women and children. The claim that Judaism condones violence against women and children is a complex one. To fully understand this notion, we need to delve deep into the intricacies of religious texts, interpretations, and scholarly references. In Judaism, like in many other religions, the concept of violence isn't black and white. It's nuanced, it's contextual, and it's deeply rooted in historical and societal circumstances. The Talmud, a central text in Judaism, often discusses violence and physical punishment, but these are typically in the context of legal disputes or as a deterrent against immoral behavior. As we turn our lens towards women and children, the picture becomes even more complex. It's important to note that the Torah, the Jewish law, does not explicitly condone violence against women or children. In fact, many passages emphasize the importance of treating women with respect and dignity. For instance, in the book of Proverbs it states, "Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate." This passage is a clear testament to the value and respect accorded to women in the Jewish tradition. When it comes to children, Jewish law is very clear. The Talmud states, "The world endures only for the breath of school children." Education and nurturing of children is seen as a sacred duty in Judaism, and violence against them is strongly condemned. However, interpretations and translations can vary, and it's crucial to note that the understanding and application of these texts can differ greatly among individuals and communities. The actions of a small minority should not be taken as representative of the whole. In conclusion, the claim that Judaism condones violence against women and children is a much more nuanced and complex issue than it first appears. It is a topic that requires careful and sensitive exploration, taking into account the various interpretations and contexts. With this understanding, we can now explore the impact of these beliefs on the Palestine issue. The Palestine issue is one of the most contested political conflicts in history. The role of religion in this conflict is pivotal and multidimensional. The religious beliefs of those involved have a significant impact on the way the conflict unfolds and is perceived by the world. In this scenario, religion can be seen as both a catalyst and a barrier to resolution. On one hand, religious beliefs can serve as a powerful motivator for individuals and groups who feel divinely mandated to fight for what they perceive as their holy land. On the other hand, these same beliefs can also create seemingly insurmountable obstacles to peace, as they often involve non-negotiable divine commandments and prophecies. An important aspect to consider in this context is the alleged religious justification of violence. Some factions within the conflict may interpret certain religious texts as endorsing or even commanding violent actions against perceived enemies. This is a highly controversial issue, as many religious scholars and practitioners vehemently dispute such interpretations. The impact of these interpretations, however, is undeniable. They can fuel the cycle of violence and deepen the divide between conflicting parties. Moreover, they can also shape the international perception of the conflict, often resulting in oversimplifications and stereotypes. Documents and statistics available on this issue paint a complicated picture. For instance, studies show that a substantial number of individuals involved in the conflict believe that their actions are justified by their religious beliefs. At the same time, however, it's important to remember that these individuals do not represent the entirety of their respective religious communities. Many religious practitioners on both sides of the conflict advocate for peace and denounce violence. As we delve deeper into this issue, it's crucial to remember that the relationship between religion and violence is complex. It's not a simple matter of cause and effect, but a tangled web of interpretations, beliefs, and actions. As we can see, the interplay of religion, violence, and politics is complex and multifaceted. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the historical roots of violence in Judaism to its alleged implications on the Palestine issue. It's vital to revisit our main points to ensure we've fully grasped the complexity of this topic. Firstly, we delved into the intersection of religion, violence, and politics, establishing the intricate network of factors that contribute to this complex issue. We then focused on Judaism, examining its teachings and instances where violence is cited in its scriptures. From there, we explored the specific instances of violence against women and children in religious texts, emphasizing the importance of context and interpretation. We touched on the potential impact of these beliefs on the ongoing Palestine issue, but it's crucial to remember that this is a multifaceted issue with numerous contributing factors. It's important to recognize the nuances of religious texts and the dangers of misinterpretation. Scriptures often need to be understood in their historical and cultural context, a task that requires deep knowledge and careful analysis. One must also consider the various sects, interpretations, and practices within a religion, as they can significantly differ in their understanding and application of the religious texts. This brings us to the necessity of dialogue and empathy. Conversations about religion, especially those that touch on sensitive issues like violence, require a high degree of understanding and respect for differing viewpoints. It's only through this open, empathetic dialogue that we can hope to address and resolve these complex issues. Finally, the exploration of these topics should never be used to justify hatred or discrimination against any group of people. Instead, it should lead to a better understanding of the complexities of religious beliefs and their influence on society and politics. Remember, the key to resolving conflict lies in understanding, empathy, and dialogue. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning,